Good evening, guys. Dave here, and honestly, this video isn't a pre-planned video. It wasn't a content that is meant to be for this channel's purpose, but I had a realization probably just a couple of hours ago that I should make this from the viewpoint of authenticity and recency. And it is simply a video about our son going into national service, also known as military service here in Singapore. So for anybody who's watching this that isn't from Singapore or is aware of what's going on, essentially, if you are a second generation permanent resident in this country and you're a male, which my son is, essentially, I'm the first generation who moved here as a primary migrant, and he, as a dependent, would be the second generation of it. But regardless, we became citizens here half a decade ago or so, and we know that this moment will happen. We knew and planned for this from the moment we decided to build our lives here in Singapore. And it wasn't a big deal. It was something that we all as a family has accepted and pretty much resigned to the fact that it is what it is. It is part of the trade-off or the exchange for being having the privilege to live here and build our lives here, which we greatly enjoyed and benefited from, as well as literally he has lived here practically like 90% of his life. So it is not something that we felt like it's a burden, neither did we feel that it is something we dread. But up until, not even until he turned 21, which is this year, and the time when he finally received the official letter from the government, from the military, as to when his enlistment period is and all that stuff, it still didn't it still kind of didn't dawn on us that much as to what the effect is for us as a family. Again, it's not something we over prepared for, but neither are we downplaying the significance of it. But now that we have less than 36 hours or so until that fateful moment where he's gonna go into camp, I think for me at least, it's sinking in a little. I'm not sad or anything, neither am I worried about him, because little bit of a background, he does have quite a bit of a medical history that will put him in a again, I never served here or anywhere, so I really can't use the terminologies or the proper verbiage to give you any accurate feedback. But in essence, he has an extensive enough medical record ever since we moved here that wouldn't put him in a more rigorous physical frontline type of training for the next 2+ years. But still, he is somebody who lived with us in our household pretty much his entire life. The longest time where we weren't with him physically was probably like a couple of days, from school camps and things like that, nothing serious. But now that he is a man, he is an adult, it kind of made me realize at the very least for a couple of months he wouldn't be with us because of the basic military training, and would be weird because I don't know how we are going to, by we I mean my wife and I, are going to adjust. It probably, I mean, for the past probably 6 months or so, ever since he finished his diplomas and stuff in school, that he has his own life, right? I mean, he is a very homebound person. He loves staying at home, but he also has his own social life that he enjoys going out, doing Warhammer and spending time with his friends for whatever, and his cousin to do more early young adult stuff in terms of entertainment and just having fun in general. So a lot of times he's either doing his own stuff at home, or we are out, or I'm in the gym, or I'm at work, or my wife is in school, etc. That it's not like he's a child that we have a set amount of time that we stay together. Spend we we continue our habit and tradition of just having dinner together and watching TV series every single night in the past, like God knows when, since probably the past decade or so, So that pretty much that we kind of saw the transition of that phase where, that saying where the time you spend with your child from birth to their early teens are probably like 80% of the time you're gonna be spending with them, and the rest will be more sparse. And that is absolutely true, and that's not something that should surprise anyone. I mean, that you as an adult watching this probably realize that as well, with your own parents, for example. After a certain age, the frequency of being together, not just physically, but communicating and just having a life with each other shifts as you turn into an adult. And that's just a natural thing. I guess it will, for an Asian culture perspective, that usually stretches a lot longer to like in your 20s or 30s, even than in Western cultures where you're usually out on your own by 18 to 20, right? But still, over the past year and a half or so, our time at home has been together and doing the same things together has gotten shorter and shorter, and we're not sad about it or anything. It's just the fact that it is part of our jobs as parents to let him explore and live his own life and try to figure out the real world as much as possible on his own, especially for people at their age cohort who had to go through losing 2, 3 years, 4 years of social buildup due to COVID, and the lack of physical face-to-face interaction during those crucial stages of young adult transition. I think that's a big issue that this entire generation is going to face. But having said that, I am extremely, extremely grateful and appreciative of the dynamics that we have as our family, because we are still extremely close. He's a type of guy or kid that up to this adult age wouldn't be shy about just showing affection to his parents outside in front of his friends, for example, if necessary. It's not a big deal. So, these are the things that we will not take lightly or for granted. But having said that, in so right now it's 10:30, so it's exactly 36 hours from now that he will be officially be enlisted. So what does that mean? I don't know. Again, I have never been enlisted before. A lot of our friends that are local told us things, but for us, we're like, ultimately we'll help him get comfortable as much as possible before entering. But what happens inside, there's nothing we can do. We just hope for the best, and that's that. But from an emotional standpoint, I'm just realizing that what will happen in 2 days' time, that we know he won't be coming home every night in his room and us bugging him to get out and help us clean the house and all that stuff, for at least the next couple of months. I know it will fly by pretty quickly, but it's going to be weird. So he obviously has been extremely busy for the past week or so, meeting with friends and his cousin and all the stuff that he wants to do before getting into military service. But we also spent quite a bit of quality time together prepping him in terms of just buying the stuff that he needs to get into camp and all that. But I think serendipitously, me being not working at all for the past over half a year or so, has been a blessing, so to speak, because I'm at home a lot of times that he is, even though he's doing his thing, we're still within like 3-4 meters of each other because of the size of our house and everything like that. So not taking any of those things for granted. And the fact that we have Hobbs, our cat, with our family for the past year or so, he has like acted like as a great glue for us in terms of our marvel, in terms of what our family unit is, and that again is not something that we take for granted. Tomorrow, I don't know. I'll try to document some, and I'll just probably add it to a collage in one of the videos after this one. We're gonna spend some time celebrating well, we're making it official that it's Hobbs' birthday tomorrow. Simply because again, Tuesday, my son will no longer be at home for the official date that we actually took Hobbs home, which is in September. So we just kind of moved it a month ahead, and it's kind of easy to remember an 8/18 birthday for our cat. But beyond that, I'm gonna spend a day, half a day with him to do the stuff that we love doing before. We're probably gonna play pool and eat, and I don't know, hit the driving range, whatever it might be that is convenient in that spot. And then come home because he still has stuff to do and prep. And then I'm also gonna be the one to shave his hair. So a little bit of backstory. Back in during COVID, or yeah, during COVID, I took up a male haircut barbering type of course. And for quite some time, especially during the COVID period, because again, he hates going to the barber to get his haircut because of the loose hair, itchy hair, and all the heat in Singapore. So he likes it when I do it at home. It's just basic trimming. In fact, I cut my own hair as well a lot of times, just because I don't feel like queuing downstairs. But yeah, so I'm gonna be shaving his head tomorrow and give him a buzz cut, which is going to be weird because he honestly have not had short hair since he was a toddler. He has always grown up having relatively long hair ever since he was born, and he likes his big poofy hairdo, especially when we were in Australia where the weather permitted his hair and school permitted his hair to be long. So it will be very, very weird to see his scalp, basically, because he does have a pretty pronounced head shape like me. Yeah, probably bigger than me in terms of like the ratio of cranial diameter size. But I digress. But we'll see how that goes. I'll record some of that tomorrow and probably put that in a collage, and hopefully I can get that out before he goes into camp, or maybe he does have a chance to see the video while he's in camp. I don't know what the policy is in terms of cell phone usage and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so that's really what I wanted to say. It's weird to go through some sort of an emptiness syndrome, even though he'll be back in a couple of months, uh, at least for the weekends. So it will be a very profound change in his life in becoming an independent adult, which I think is a good thing for most people, especially for males, especially for Singapore, wherein the country and the environment itself is so sterile and safe. It's good to lose that layer of safety net of having your parents, lack of a better term, helicoptering around your bigger decisions, having to take responsibility on your actions and having to, I guess, take more crap from authority that isn't your parent that you have to face every single day. You know, unlike in school where you get to go home and it kind of resets and, you know, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. So yeah, so I'll stay tuned for the next video on what we're gonna do tomorrow in terms of prepping for his national service, and maybe we'll record some stuff on the actual enlistment date itself. I don't know if if it's feasible, but I'll try. But at the very least, the ones tomorrow, it's gonna happen. And until then, thanks for listening, and to my son who will hopefully stumble upon this. I just want to wish you all the best, and I'm proud of you. You're like the best son that we can possibly ask for. You've been amazing person, an adult, as a child. You're just awesome. And I know there's a lot of things that you need to sort out, but we are with you as long as I'm still here. And until then, have a good day, have a good night, and I'll see you again in the next video. Ciao.